Hi, I'm Brandon, and I'm back to do another TCAP commentary, this one on Kenneth Brinkman. Let's do it. So I guess, got a comment on his walk there. Some of the guys, I just did the Michael Siebert, where he just like scurries along like a little rat, just practically jogging up to the house. Then you got guys like Timothy Isaac, who just walk with their arms swinging, just so happy. Kenneth here just seems to be very, very casual and kind of slow. Where's he going? Oh, there he is.
Come on in, man. I just whacked my toe on the banister.
Oh, poor Dell and that banister. That's like one of the great rivalries in the history of film and television. That's like Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader right there. Is her and that banister that just bashes her toe all the time.
Oh my gosh, I just whacked the crap out of myself.
You what?
I hit my toe on the banister. Oh, I gotta go get a Band-Aid. Now I'm bleeding and I'm gonna get shot if I bleed on the rug.
You're gonna get shot? Who's gonna shoot you? Is this part of the country, is there summary executions for banging your toe on the banister and bleeding on the carpet? I'm not aware of that law.
Hold on, hang out at the bar for a second. I'll be right back down, alright?
Okay.
Cool.
Seems like the Predators could show a little more concern. It's like if you injured yourself that badly that you're just bleeding all over the place, like maybe they need to go to the hospital, like maybe they need medical attention.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming out here, man.
Okay, cool.
I was having like such a crappy night.
Aren't you just mortally wounded there, Dell? Like, shouldn't you be wrapping yourself up there, or using dental floss as stitches or something to fix this horrible bleeding toe?
I'm sorry like you got all weirded out when you saw me the first time.
Well, it wasn't I got weirded out. I thought I couldn't see a address. I mean, I seen it on the mailbox.
Yeah, it's totally like weirded out, isn't it?
I think this is probably the longest chat between Predator and the decoy in these early episodes. Usually Chris would just come out immediately, but here they're having, this is like a good minute that's gone by, and there's been just some chatter back and forth.
Anyway, sorry. I found the Band-Aid. I'll be right back down. I just have to wipe it off or else I'm going to get an infection. Have you ever got like one of those ingrown toenails?
Yeah.
I got one once and it hurt so freaking bad.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, I used to have ingrown toenails. It was pretty horrible. And then you have to go get a little minor surgery to get them fixed, and then that'll solve it. But it doesn't help if you keep whacking your toe on the banister. It's only going to make it worse.
Okay.
Would you do me a favor and have a seat on the stool right on the other side of the bar there? Please go ahead, have a seat. Did you get yourself all comfortable? Or?
Sure.
What's going on?
Not much.
Why are you here?
Came to meet this gentleman.
Gentleman. There's a lot of words I could use to describe Dell, but gentleman wouldn't be one of them.
Gentleman. Mm-hmm. And how old is the gentleman you came here to meet?
He told me that he was 15, I believe.
15?
They always add that in there. You said something 14, 15, or 15, I believe. They always just add something a little bit extra just to show that there's some doubt that maybe it wasn't true. Just tell the truth, Kenneth. They said they were 15.
Do you want to try again?
That's what I remember.
How about 14?
Or 14, okay. So he just adds 1 year to it. Somehow that makes him look better or makes this a little bit less criminal.
How old are you?
43.
43. And you came here to meet a teenage boy. Why?
I told him I was coming to meet and talk.
Just to meet and talk.
And that's probably the most common excuse, is just, yeah, I was coming over and I knew their age, but I wasn't going to do anything bad when I got there. We were just going to talk. Like, yeah. Like, no one believes that.
And what was your plan once you got here?
Meet and talk.
Just that.
Yeah.
And you thought that was appropriate? for you as a grown man of 43.
Yeah, that's not appropriate. Even they try to make it look like, oh, we were just friends. We just hit it off. We were just going to talk. It's like, it doesn't matter. You're a friggin' grown-ass man in his 40s, and this is a teenager, and he's home alone, or he or she is home alone. No parent in the world is going to want just some strange man from the internet hanging out of their house alone with their kids. Like, that's just so inappropriate.
3 years old to come here to meet a teenage boy who was home alone.
It's kind of like your job as a parent is to make sure that the people that are around your kids are trustworthy. So you want to make sure you know them. They're like friends or acquaintances, people you know very well. You don't just allow the children to invite strange men to the house, or any stranger for that matter, when you're not home. Like, that would just never happen. And quite honestly, I mean, I don't have kids, but I wouldn't even, if my kids were home alone, I wouldn't want even people I knew to be coming over and hanging out with them alone. Like, even that's just weird. Like, grown adults who are normal don't do that. Like, it just seems like a bad situation. And just have a stranger over and for him to claim like, oh, I wasn't going to do anything. Even if you weren't, it's still bad. The kind of person who's not going to do anything bad would be smart enough to know not to go there in the first place, let alone have the sexual conversation they did over chat. Like, he just expects us to believe that. Like, people know human nature. Everyone knows exactly what he was intending to go over there. You find out, oh, a grown man on the internet went over to a strange teenager's house. No one's going to assume, like, oh, he's probably just going there to hang out. I don't see anything wrong with that. They immediately know what their intentions were.
I had my reservations,
Your reservations.
but he asked
You should have listened to those reservations, Kenneth.
me to.
So that made it okay?
I didn't see any harm in just chatting with him, no.
Just chatting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you have nieces and nephews?
Oh, yeah. All the way up to 22 or 23.
Is the 22-year-old named Adriana by any chance? Because you could really help clear up some trouble for Jerry Griffith if that's the case.
Actually, I think Dustin may be 24.
Yeah. Now, would you be comfortable if a grown man came into a home where one of your nephews was alone? Would that be okay with you?
Well, I guess it would depend on what their intentions were.
It wouldn't depend on anything. No normal person would like that. If you found out that your teenage kid was hanging out with some strange 43-year-old man that you never even knew existed, and he was in your house alone, and they were alone together, you would immediately react with anger. You'd want to know, who is this guy? I'm calling the cops. Show me the chat, what you were talking about. It would be alarming. You wouldn't be like, well, what were you guys doing? I'll decide. Maybe it was okay. Like, no, under no circumstances is that okay.
See, now you're telling me your intentions were one thing, but based upon the internet conversation you had with the boy, your intentions seem like something very different.
I think the last conversation that I had with Rocky was that I was coming to meet and chat.
We don't care what the last conversation was. We care about all the conversations. You can't just have this long sexual conversation with them and then claim, well, if you only look at the last conversation, there was nothing really bad in there. I was just saying I was going to come over. It's like, no, as we've seen in his interrogation, the cops really drill into him that, hey, there's a whole lot of graphic sexual talk here.
He led some other, or I don't want to say he led, but he kind of gave that it may be more, and I said no. You know,
What? That is not what happened. He's trying to blame the decoy. Well, the decoy, they were saying the sexual stuff, and I said no. No, Kenneth, you brought it up repeatedly, over and over again, graphically. And even if the teenager did bring it up, that's your cue to back away and say no and stop the conversation. It's not your cue to continue it and then drive over to the house. You're the adult. It's your responsibility to control the direction of the conversation and end it when it becomes inappropriate.
I says, well, I'm coming to talk and chat, to meet you and chat.
Do you do this often?
As far as with younger kids,
Yeah.
Is this something you really have to think about, Kenneth? If you have to think about whether you have repeated sexual conversations with underage people, it takes you a while to figure out if the answer is yes or no. It means the answer is yes. Most people would be like, no, I've never done this. Most of the predators even immediately deny it. So the fact that he's taken a long time to think about it means he probably does this on a regular basis.
I would say that I thought he was 15, but
That's still illegal, Ken. That doesn't make it any better.
I would say that.
Well, 15, 14. I mean, what's the
Right.
difference?
Well, I
really?
agree.
mean, he says right here.
Is he just like, damn, I thought they were 15. That would have been appropriate in my mind, but 14, that's too young. That's where I draw the line. So what difference does it make? They're both illegal and they're both wrong.
Hello, hi. 14 male, 14 years old, yeah. Oh my. What are you doing in here? How are you? I like talking to other gay people. Doing well, thanks. So he says it's 14 right there.
That may have been later in the week or something like that. I don't know.
The 19th of March. 11:30.
Did he say that might have been a week ago? Like, who cares how long ago it was? That they're still 14, whether it's a week ago or now. Even if they had a birthday and now they're 15. Anything, like, why do they act like those little things, like the 14 or 15, or this was a week ago, or the Jeff Stacy, that was 24 hours ago, or that was last night. Like, somehow, like, that's going to change it. Okay, if it was more than a week ago you've been chatting, then somehow it's okay. Wait, what the hell are they talking about?
5 p.m. I mean, that's the chat log.
Unless he's trying to say that, well, he told me he was 14, but we kept talking for a week, and then I forgot that he was 14 and thought he was older, so that's why I had the sexual conversation. Is that what he's trying to say? But even that's not something that you would forget. It's something that as soon as they said 14, you should have been like, whoa, bye, and I'm reporting you to this app because you should not be on here.
So, 14.
Well, he knew I was very concerned about chatting with him and even meeting up with him.
If you were concerned about it, why did you do it?
But despite your concern, you showed up anyway.
Well, I think because of the way that he was telling me that his parents were gone to Vegas, and
Yeah, exactly. You knew his parents were going to be gone, so you hopped in your car and drove over.
he was alone and stuff like that.
If you're concerned about them being home alone, it should be a family member or someone that the parents know that go over to take care of them, not some strange man on the internet.
So you're just coming over here to babysit him? To keep an eye on him?
No, I didn't think that he needed a babysitter. You know?
What did you think he did need?
I didn't think that he needed anything, really. I mean, he even asked me to buy him beer, and I says, no way.
Because that would be very wrong, Kenneth. Kenneth is an upstanding citizen who would never buy beer for a minor. That would be wrong.
You say, I just love playing and blanking a man's blank.
Well, those were the conversations that he was having with me also.
These are your...
What? A conversation has two sides. Him having a conversation with you is the exact same thing as you having a conversation with him. So he's trying to say, oh, like he was saying that kind of stuff? Possibly, but you started it. And the thing is, he's a minor. If he says that stuff, you're still the adult, so it's your job to put an end to it. You said that stuff back to him, and you were clearly the instigator in all of this.
Oh, yeah, we had some.
Again, with the last conversation, it doesn't matter what the most recent conversation is. It's not like you can only get in trouble for the most recent portion of the chat. If at any point in your week or month-long chat or however long it is, if any part of it is inappropriate and illegal and wrong, you can get in trouble for that. It's not like the legality of the chat resets itself like every 12 or 24 hours and you can only get in trouble for the most recent bit.
Or tonight, there was some conversation about beer, and I says, no, I won't do that.
Okay, that's fine. So you're not going to get in trouble for bringing him beer, but you're going to get in trouble for wanting to come over and do what you wanted to do with him.
Here you say, I have to ask this. Are you a cop?
Every guy, every idiot, they just think, like, ask if they're a cop, and if they are, they have to tell you, which is not true, and that's why every guy asks it, and every guy gets busted.
Why did you ask if he was a cop?
Because of the age. I mean, I haven't done a thing with him. And
Well, of course not, because you got busted by Chris Hansen.
And I mean, look at what I'm doing. I'm sitting here talking with you over it, you know?
Yeah, and if you weren't, God knows what you'd be doing. As soon as Dell fixed her toe, you'd probably be up there doing all sorts of sick stuff.
So, I mean, that was my largest fear. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't hook up online. I meet people, but I don't hook up online.
It sounds like you were trying to hook up tonight.
No.
Have you ever asked somebody to blank you off? You talk about
Oh, I won't deny that there was
you
sexual.
talk about penis size here, yours and his.
I don't recall him ever telling me his, but
What? Why? This guy's so stupid and like terrible. You don't recall him telling you his penis size? Why were you bringing up this discussion at all? That's not something you discuss with a minor.
I can read it to you.
I don't, I mean,
Just the fact that you asked that question should get you in trouble. Doesn't matter if he answers or not.
you chat with a lot of people in those chat rooms.
And all those people should be over the age of 18.
You ask about his homosexuality. You say, well, you're a good-looking guy, but then you say, please delete that picture of me. Why did you want him to delete the picture of you that you had sent him?
I deleted his. I mean,
And these guys are so stupid, like the whole Lauren delete your archives. Like, you're putting a lot of trust in the other person that they're actually going to do that, and they just believe it. There's no chance that they might say they're going to delete it and then not do it. Like, it's just so dangerous. You're just, like, providing evidence.
I don't keep pictures on my internet.
Yeah, I know right off the bat. That's a lie. This guy, any young man that sends this guy any sort of pictures, Kenneth keeps them all as if he deletes them. Like, no way.
You say, you better not be getting me into trouble. That's not good.
In trouble for what? If you're not coming over to do anything bad, what's there to get in trouble for, Ken?
It's not, because, I mean, look what's happened here. Even though I haven't done anything with the guy, I mean, look what's happened.
So you have that dark hair. Do you have any body hair?
Yeah? I mean, those are normal chat things on...
It's normal chat things with a 14-year-old boy?
Yeah, none of those are normal things. These guys try to act like everyone chats about this kind of stuff. I mean, possibly with other adults. I mean, I don't think people do that all the time in normal conversations. It's only in, whatever chat rooms where they are geared towards sexual kind of stuff like this. But you don't do it with minors, like, ever. It's not normal.
You're underage, and then what if you got pissed at me sometime? I would go to jail. You say you're very cool and very safe. Did you bring condoms with you tonight?
No. I didn't even bring my wallet. I walked out and left my wallet on the dresser.
How was the ride over today?
How was my ride over?
Over here.
Oh, it's fine.
How far did you travel tonight?
I live in Kettering.
Kettering. And how far is that from where we're at here?
I want to say 30 miles, 33 miles, something like that. I really don't know. I think it was, according to what the directions he gave me was 45 minutes. I'm sorry, 45 mile.
45 miles.
Yeah,
So you drove 45 miles just to, what, chat with this kid?
absolutely. The guy, he told me that his parents were in Vegas.
That's not a defense. That just means that you found out that his parents weren't going to be there and he's going to be home alone, so you chose that moment to drive over. Technically, you could have picked any time and met him, in some public place or something where he'd be safe, but you came to his house when he was home alone, and you specifically chose that because there'd be no parents there to bust you.
And I mean, I even said in the email, hey, I'm coming to meet and to chat with you.
You also say...
And if he did say that, it's only to cover himself because he knew he had this graphic sexual conversation. So he thinks that he can absolve himself and somehow not be breaking the law if at the very end he's like, by the way, I'm just coming over to chat. But you can't just say that after you've talked in graphic detail about sex and all this other illegal stuff and soliciting the minor and then come over and think that's just going to clear the whole thing up.
In your chat, so you have a nice blank, slang word for penis.
Yeah, we got that, Chris.
What's that now?
So you have a nice cock, is what you say to him.
Thanks for clearing that up, Chris.
Yeah, I guess I did. I think he asked about mine too.
And you go into great detail about that. Do you see why it's hard for me to believe that you were just here to chat? Based upon this
Well,
discussion.
I know myself. I'm 43 years old.
We know you too, Ken. We know you too. We know exactly what you intended to do. And yeah, you're 43 years old, so that's totally inappropriate. You're like decades past the point where it's inappropriate to be driving over to meet a minor alone.
And I know myself what I would have done. Period.
Maybe you need some more introspection there, Ken, because I don't think you know yourself as well as you do if you're going to lie and say you didn't have bad intentions.
Ask him if he's horny. And then say, I wish you were not so far away. What conclusion can I draw from this?
I totally understand.
What do you do for a living?
I manage an audit department for a major oil company for 25 years.
So yeah, he has a very sweet and probably pretty good paying job, and then I don't know if he got fired or what, but well, I guess if he went to prison, he probably did get fired. So he had a lot to lose, and he threw it all away.
It's a big job.
Absolutely. I'm fucking scared to death.
How do you defend this behavior?
Well, I should have never came here. No matter what, you always hear stories online about situations like this, and no matter how you feel about it doesn't matter what they're saying to you, you just have to say that the hell with it.
Exactly. So why didn't you? And most people wouldn't even get to that point because most people wouldn't see a 13, 14, or 15-year-old online and reach out to them and say hi and start chatting them up. Regardless of what your intentions were, like pretty much every normal person would not do that. So they wouldn't even be in a position to have to reject them if the conversation turned inappropriate. So the fact that you reached out to them first, started talking to them, and then the conversation turned inappropriate, instead of stopping it, you just kept going, and you're the one to bring up sex first. So it's basically all your fault.
Do you have an addiction to the internet? A compulsion?
No, I wouldn't say that. I live on the computer at work, so but and I chat all the time with my mom. She's got cancer and is in South Bend, and that's.
Do you ever ask your mom if she's a cop?
We communicate all the time, through the internet, and and I have friends that I talk with online, but this was the first time I've ever chatted with someone at this age,
Aren't there enough 21-year-olds and over to chat with?
Well, actually.
Yeah, like even a 43-year-old with a 21-year-old is kind of gross and eyebrow raising, but it's still legal. So yeah, Chris is right. Why not? If you're into young guys, why not pick someone who's 21? They're still like way younger than you, but it would be legal. But he's like, nah, that's too old. I'm gonna go way younger than that. Like, yeah, then you get busted for it.
Most guys that talk to me are in that age, 25, 26 years old.
Nobody cares about that.
Well, I know.
Those are adults.
But
Yeah, no one cares who you mostly talk to. if you mostly talk to 25 and 26-year-olds, and then the one time they're a 14-year-old, that's the one you're getting busted for.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
I mean, what people get upset about, what the law has an issue with, is 14, 13, 12-year-old kid.
Oh, I know. And that was...
I mean, what goes on between adults is nobody's business but the adults.
Absolutely.
But when it gets down to this, can you see why somebody would have an issue?
Oh, yeah. But I can tell you right now, I mean, nothing sexually would ever happen with me and this kid. That's just, I know how I am.
I know, but based upon the chat,
I know.
it sounds like you.
Yeah, like, is he, obviously he's just lying, but I wonder, is he just so delusional? Does he actually think in his mind that he wasn't going to do that? He has to know somewhere deep inside that he fully intended to do what he said he was going to do.
Getting ready to have a big old night of sex with this kid.
No. I don't even have sex with men my age the first time I meet them.
Well, of course you don't, because you're not interested in men your age. You're interested in men that are less than half your age.
Period.
Well, if you had to sum it up, how did you end up here tonight?
Because he asked me to come.
I know, but because a 14-year-old asks you to do something doesn't mean you do it.
And I'm pretty sure that's not true. I'm pretty sure that the rules that perverted justice operates under state that they don't invite you over, they don't instigate anything. He invited himself over.
Well, and you're right in the sense that there are, I mean, it's a dangerous thing. I mean, in his shoes, I know what I'm like, and I know that, I'm good.
Stop saying you know. I think he's trying to say, like some of the other guys do, like, watch out, there's a lot of creeps online, but I'm not one of them, even though I'm preying on a minor and going over to visit them home alone with sexual intent. But somehow my situation's different. You have to watch out for all the other guys, but my situation's different. Like, so many guys think that, like they think that any other guy that's doing the exact same thing they're doing is some sort of sick perv. However, them doing that exact same thing is not, because they're a good guy. That's what they think. But how could you possibly think that? You guys are all the same. You're all doing the exact same thing.
Good conversation. I'm good company. I'm not talking sex or anything like that.
You were talking.
You talked about sex like nonstop the entire time you're chatting. So how are we supposed to believe that you'd come over there, visit them home alone, and all of a sudden that topic of conversation would never come up?
Oh, we both were.
No, but there's a difference. You're 43 years old and he's
Right. You're
14.
right. You're right.
So,
I understand.
do you know that it's illegal to solicit somebody this age over the internet for sex?
I didn't think that I was. I mean, we didn't agree to sex. We did not agree to sex at all.
Sexually charged conversations.
Yeah, it's not like you have to like confirm everything. It's you were sending them inappropriate pictures and having a very inappropriate sexual discussion with them before you went to the house. That's enough to land you in jail. You don't need to like have him like sign a official document saying that that's what you're going to do. It's just like, no, we all know exactly what you're going to do.
I mean, you know what you said. I read you the quotes.
Is Ken not wondering like who this guy is? Does he assume he's police or what?
What do you think should happen to you tonight?
Well, right now I'm scared to death. I just want to go home.
He just wants to go home so he can get back online and start chatting up a different minor.
Well, there's a couple things that you have to know. One is that I'm Chris Hansen.
I like how Chris Hansen just leans in there, puts his elbows on the table, and he's going in for the kill.
On NBC, we're doing a story about adults hooking up with teenagers on the internet. If you have anything else you'd like to say, we'd like to hear it. If not, you're obviously free to go.
So this is going to be on TV.
TV and the internet.
We don't know. We're working on a story. No decisions have been made as to what is or is not going to be in it. We're just in the early stages of this story.
That's just as bad as getting arrested.
Well, I got news for you, Ken. It's not one or the other.
You know?
I mean, I'm just being straight up with you. I don't know, and there's no way I can say at this point.
I want to go.
You're absolutely free to go.
And I've been taught a lesson. Big time.
You know, this is not the first time we've done a story like this.
I don't know.
Okay. Don't forget your jacket.
That camera guy is just getting a nice, beautiful shot of Kenneth putting his shoes on. Just got the big spotlight on him.
Around. Put your hands on your back. Listen up. You have the right to remain silent. You understand that? Anything you say can will be used against you in a court of law. Do you understand that?
Yes or no?
Yes.
You have the right to talk to the lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned. Do you understand that?
Yes.
If not afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Ready?
Yep.
I think we'll stop it right there. I did I'll do his interrogation in a separate video that I'll upload soon. So yeah, that was Kenneth Brinkman. Yeah, this guy is just pure denial. You'll see even in his interrogation, he just refuses to admit that what he did was absolutely horrible and that he obviously had bad intent. Just these guys are delusional. Thought today we could take a look at the interrogation of Kenneth Brinkman.
And out there where you're arrested on 5K Avenue, I read your constitutional rights, your Miranda rights.
Oh, here we have the no BS Ohio cops.
Did you understand them at that time?
Yes.
Okay. And you will verify that I did read them to you, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see a picture of this girl? How old do you think she looked by the picture that you saw?
You can hear other people being interrogated in the background.
That's not good. I got some questions I want to ask you. Are you willing to talk to me?
Yes.
Okay. I want you to be truthful with me. Okay. About
Can you
everything.
push my glasses up?
Okay. I want you to be truthful with me about everything I ask you about. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Why did you come to the house out there on 5K Avenue today, or tonight, this morning?
Actually, it's supposed to be like 11:30.
Okay.
Well, I had been chatting with, he said he was Rocky, I think maybe a week or so. And so anyway, we started chatting tonight, or Friday night, and he told me that his parents had went to Vegas and that he was home alone and bored. And
Yeah, like I've pointed out before, that word bored gets thrown around a lot. It's like the predators use it as an excuse for doing this kind of thing, and then they also kind of use it as an excuse, like for the decoy to invite the guy over. It seems like a lot of trouble comes from these people getting bored and having nothing better to do. So whenever you're bored, somehow logically it leads to you doing criminal activity. Yeah, I don't think that's the way it works.
So anyway, we chatted about all kinds of stuff. I mean, sex. I mean, he was in a gay chat room, you know.
Yeah, a minor's in the gay chat room, so that means they are open and fair game to doing whatever you want to them and saying whatever you want to them, both online and in person. Is that what you're trying to say, Kenneth?
And, so anyway, at one point we decided that we would meet up, and I even mentioned, I says, that's fine, I don't mind meeting up and chatting, but I says, and I asked him on different occasions if he was a cop or anything like that. I mean, I normally do with anybody that I'm chatting with.
No, you don't. That's the Jeff Stacy excuse. Shut up. I've never asked anyone if they're a cop before ever, because first of all, it's pointless, because if they are and they're undercover, they're not going to tell you. And unless you're doing something illegal, you don't need to know if they're cops. Like, if you're meeting someone for legal sex, they could even be a cop and legally do it, because they're allowed to. The only way you would constantly be asking people if they're cops is if you don't want to get caught, which means that the sexual hookups you're trying to arrange are illegal, which means that they're likely, in this guy's situation, an underage person. That's not a normal thing. Again, I could be wrong because I don't do this kind of hookup stuff, like I'm in a relationship. But even when I wasn't, like I met girls over Match and other stuff, not once did I ever ask if they're cops, because they were clearly adults. So there was no need to. Unless you're doing something illegal, there's no need to ask if they're cops. So screw off with this whole, I ask everyone that. That's a normal thing. Like, no, it's not.
Because, I mean, they can tell you that they're 40 or 50, but you don't know that,
And if they're a cop, it wouldn't matter if they're 40. What would matter if they're 40 or 50? Why would they need to be or not need to be a cop? The only time if they're lying about their age is if they're underage. It's the only time you're in trouble. If it's like, oh, they said they're 25, but I think they might be 40, so I'm going to ask if they're a cop. How is that going to solve the situation? That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, your screen name is what?
I know what they're trying to say. They're trying to say that they're trying to bring up the whole confusion about the age thing. People lie about being 40 or 50. If they're willing to lie about that, they might lie about being 13 or 14. Everyone's lying, so you can never know. So I couldn't have had any intention to come there with an underage person because you can never really know the age. That's what they're getting at, and that is bullshit.
Jungle Mania 2050.
Probably, I'm not sure if I know that person.
Who are you coming to see today or visit? What was her name?
Wanted some information.
His name was
Or his
Rocky.
name?
Rocky.
Rocky?
Rocky.
AOL is America Online.
So, okay, you can call up that person and talk to him.
What was the screen name that he used?
What do you say these again?
It's Art of Living.
Or including?
Oh, God, I don't remember now.
This phone if I call it right now.
You've been talking to him for a week or so and you don't remember?
Well, the reason I don't is because, on AOL, once you start talking, it just comes up automatically.
What do you think it was?
See who it is?
Yes, sir. Sure. Sir, but
Talk to so many people.
you can
Just,
just.
I mean,
Can't even tell you my mom's screaming right now. Once I look at it,
I'm being very honest. You can definitely talk to him. You can ask him over there.
Probably means he was talking to so many minors that he can't remember them.
Maybe he knows me.
he, I thought it was she.
I know, again, guys have said similar things where it's like, I talk to so many people of all different ages that if one underage person happens to slip through, it's not like I was focusing on that particular one. They were just one of many, and I'm bound to make occasional mistakes. However, Kenneth, for some reason, this particular person is the one whose house you actually drove to and got busted at. So that probably means this was the main focus of all the people you were talking to, probably because they were all minors and this is the one giving you the most attention, or this was the only minor, therefore the one you were most interested in, and that's why you went to their house. So shut up trying to say that, like, you just have all these conversations going on and they somehow get jumbled together.
I think it started,
I don't even know.
I wanted to
sir.
say
For
you.
email ID, I cannot. I have quite a few friends in art of living.
I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Okay. How'd you first meet Rocky?
In the Dayton Men for Men.
What's your first name again?
Dayton Men for Men?
Yeah, AOL.
What's your last name, Chandra?
See, that word men is in there twice, possibly for a reason, being that you should be there to meet men, not boys.
And that's a chat room?
Yes.
I go by.
When was that again?
Yeah, it's just kind of striking the difference between these interrogators' methods and the other ones we've been seeing in Kentucky. Is that, like, the Kentucky ones, they're more just let the person ramble on about whatever bullshit they want to get information out of them. These guys are more like, they just read a list of questions and they don't put up with BS.
It may have been last Friday, but I won't swear to that. It may have been earlier that week.
You bring anything with you other than what we have?
You know how old that Rocky was, or how old Rocky
I
told you he
thought,
was before you come to visit him?
I thought he said that he was 15, but the guy when he was talking to me in the basement said he was 14. I mean, it was a concern because, I mean, he was younger than I am.
Really? A 13-year-old is younger than you, Kenneth?
You know, considerably younger than I am.
Well, I've got the logs from your chats, okay? And he told you he was 14 years old.
Okay.
Now, was he 14 or is he 15?
Well, I have to say 14 if that's what the log says.
Okay.
So you drive all the way from Greenville to watch movies with this 14-year-old girl with condoms in your pocket.
Can't they close the door or something so they don't have to hear those other guys? It's kind of distracting.
I mean, you see how it looks?
What made you think that he was 14 years old?
I'm sorry.
What, did he send you one?
Yeah, I think so. 'Cause at the time when I sent him mine, as I do anybody I'd send my picture to, I ask him to delete it. But I mean, I have a professional job, so I just always ask them to delete it. I mean, you never know if they do or not. So
Did you have any phone conversations with Rocky when you were coming to see him?
just tonight.
How many?
One right before he called me. I want to say maybe 10:30.
How long of calls were they?
I was just at one, except for when I couldn't find the
How
house.
long of a call?
Maybe 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Maybe.
I would not find any other signs of you chatting with any of the girls online. You underage girls.
What phone did you call from? What was the number?
I wonder if Kenneth or like any of these guys, they can hear other predators getting grilled in the other room. I wonder if they're like, boy, I'm glad I'm not that guy.
That you called from to
He
talk
called
to
me.
him?
You call Kentucky up, and you let me go check your computer out.
What's your cell phone number? What did you talk about each time?
It's your roommate's laptop.
That was so short.
You know what?
He wanted to know what I was doing.
Please don't tell me.
Wanted to know if I was going to come and see him.
Don't tell who.
And I said yes. And that was really it. It was kind of a vague phone call.
Did you ever have any sexual conversations with him?
Oh, yeah.
What did they entail?
Well, from what I remember and from what I've been reading in the comments of my videos, this guy has some particularly specific one-liners that are quite sexual. So don't lie, Kenneth, you had sexual conversations with him.
Well, he told me about an experience he had with a cousin. And then he asked me, that was the first conversation, or the first time he ever really talked sexually, I guess. Wanted to know if, and I wasn't even on.
Yeah, he's trying to say, like, first time he talked sexually. No, Kenneth, you brought it up like all the predators.
I was online, but I wasn't at the computer. And he wanted to know if that weirded him out. And by the time I got back to the computer, he was gone. And so tonight, when we started chatting, I told him that, I says, hey, everybody has, it's cool, everybody has their own, I guess, stories, about what went on with him and his cousin.
What did the two of you talk about? What sexually explicit things did you two talk about?
He said something about what happened with his cousin would be cool with us.
What did you talk about sexually?
Sexually?
Yes.
Yeah, he keeps saying, like, well, he said that. It's like, no, what did you say? You did probably 90 to 100% of the sexual talk, because the decoys really do none of it or very minimal. What did you say sexually? And it's like, then he goes with, well, what the decoy said to try to make it look like it was all him.
Size. And, that was really about it. Sucking.
Did you ask to suck his?
All right,
No, not that I recall.
What did you come up here for tonight?
Like I said, the end of the conversation was, or even during the conversation, was that his parents had left to go to Las Vegas.
Why did you come up here tonight?
I came up here just to meet and chat with the kid.
You were already you'd already met him and you're already chatting with him online. You don't need to meet in person. Like, I just don't buy that.
To have sex with him?
Nope.
Never discussed having sex with him.
Nope.
Tonight or any other time on these chat logs.
I can't say that that we definitely talked about having sex. No. I mean, we talked about sex, but
Come on, cops, read some lines that he stated, because I know he's lying.
just have sex with each other. No.
Jungle Mania, 5:46 p.m. I love to have a guy come in my mouth.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Mr. Police Officer. What are you going to say about that, Kenneth?
Yeah, but that wasn't talking about him. I mean,
This kid posed himself to you as being a 14-year-old, and that's the conversation that you're having with him?
Yeah, what a son of a bitch. She's just like, well, that wasn't about him. Yeah, but you asked him. That's a blatantly graphic sexual thing you're asking a 14-year-old. Just because you're asking it if he did it to some other person instead of you does not mean it's not sexual and completely inappropriate. Like, this Kenneth guy is apparently intelligent. Like, he had a very high-paying, good, respectable job. Obviously, he has enough intelligence to understand that.
well, yeah, but he was having the same type of conversation.
And he posed to you as being 14 years old.
Well, I didn't see any harm in that.
You didn't?
Because it wasn't something we were talking about with us.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I don't believe you.
I mean, it's just like the deal with him talking to me about his cousin. I didn't see
Jungle
this about-
Mania.
And tell me what really is going on here.
What's that? Oh boy, the stuff. Oh boy, the when it goes in your mouth. Jungle Mania. Oh, now I never waste a load. Laugh
Oh,
out.
there we go. Yep. Sorry, Kenneth, you're caught there. And by the number of times I've seen people write that line in the comment section of my videos, I know that's a very famous one. So glad you get to live forever in infamy, Kenneth.
Out loud, okay. Jungle Mania, would you like that?
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, because it's right here on the chat log. Now, you're not being truthful with me.
Oh, yes, I am.
Totally truthful with me.
I feel that I am, because I know, I mean, you're reading parts of that, the whole conversation, I mean, it never really, I never said that that's what I wanted to do with him.
Why are you saying that to him at all? It's completely inappropriate to be saying things like that to a young person, whether or not you're talking about yourself or them or other people. You just don't talk about subjects like that, especially incredibly graphic things like that. Like, that's very graphic. And he's trying to make it look like, oh, you're just reading certain lines from there to make it look bad. Well, yeah, of course. Like, those lines shouldn't be in there. The cop should be able to read the whole thing and be like, oh, okay, yeah, you talked to this young person, but you never once said anything inappropriate, so we have nothing on you. That should be what happened. If you have, well, there's only like maybe 10 or 20 lines in there that are hugely sexually graphic. That's barely any. Like, no, there should be none. You can't say he's just reading certain lines. Why would you say anything like that at all?
You know, it was the conversation that we were having.
University of Kentucky Library of Property.
I mean, there was a point where he was trying to get me to commit to something more than just
Oh, so now you're trying to blame the kid for it again, Kenneth, huh?
coming and meeting and chatting with him. And I says, look, you know, I don't know. First of all, I don't know what his age was, and look what the hell happened.
If he represented you as he was 14 years old, you didn't care. If he was 14 years old, you didn't care. It didn't bother you that he was 14 years
Well, it
old.
depends if
and
you're
you're
looking
carrying
at-
on these kind of conversations with what you believe is a 14-year-old kid.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's wrong. See, most normal people, I can only speak for myself, but I'm sure other people probably follow the same moral code, is that when you're around young people like that, you kind of watch what you say. You don't talk to them the same way you would to your fellow adults because they are kids. You don't just think of some disgusting sex joke and then just say it right in front of them because it's inappropriate. Like you're mindful of who else is in the room with you, and if the only other person in the room with you, whether that's online or not, is a 14-year-old, you don't talk about sex. Unless, say, you're like a teacher or a parent and it's in an age-appropriate way. If you're a strange man in his 40s or 50s or even younger or older, you don't just bring up graphic things and say them to him as part of a discussion and then just claim it was some sort of you just talk and it didn't mean anything. It's like, yeah, it does mean anything. Those kind of things would probably be shocking to a person of that age. And even if it wasn't, even if the young people are seeing that kind of thing online, well, that's a different discussion, but it doesn't mean that you get to just say whatever you want to them for just because it gets you off. Like, that's so wrong.
Then you come up here tonight just to meet him.
Absolutely. And I do that with anybody that I meet online.
No, sir. I mean, if it's part of the movie, I don't.
I mean,
So you do this often?
no.
Is this the first time you've ever done this?
Done what? Met somebody from online?
Done what?
No.
It's the first time you ever met somebody online or came to meet somebody online that you knew posed as a 14-year-old boy?
Absolutely.
The first time?
Absolutely.
What made you do it this time?
Because he said his parents were in Las Vegas and that he was bored.
Yeah, his parents being gone was probably the catalyst in that situation. Just definitely he would not have gone to the house if the parents were there, so that clearly shows he was trying to do something wrong. If he really wanted to just meet, why would he care about the parents being there? Even if he didn't want the parents around, he could say, why don't we meet somewhere and chat in a park up the street or, at a mall? Instead, he waits till the parents are like flying halfway across the country and aren't anywhere close, and then he wants to come over.
You're carrying on these explicit conversations with a 14-year-old, knowing that his parents are not home and didn't expect to have any kind of sexual contact with him.
Absolutely. He even asked me to bring him beer and I said no.
What a good man you are, Kenneth.
I came with no condoms, no intentions of.
You think we believe the story?
Where do you live at again? In Kettering, right?
Yes.
We haven't been doing this, we're not.
Where's the computer at that located at to use to communicate with Rocky?
Brand new box of condoms.
Where is it?
Yeah.
It's in my apartment.
And you're not being straight up with us.
I am.
No, you're not. Do we look stupid? You know? Chatting with you tells the girl you're 27. She tells you.
I guess we can listen to this other interrogation while we're waiting for this cop to get on with it.
So tell me again what you came up here to do with him tonight.
I came here strictly to meet and chat with Rocky.
Did you graduate high school?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I even, when I couldn't find the
How long
house,
have you been in the United States?
I even left.
For 5+ years?
And I
How many
was
times did you drive around that house tonight?
Yeah, it's not a defense that you left and then came back. All we care is that you eventually came. And yeah, if this cop's right that he was driving around the house, he's just one of these guys that thinks they're being smart and that they just drive around the block a few times and scope out the house in case they could see something out of the ordinary. That just shows that you're being a creep. It doesn't show that you didn't have intent.
I think 4 times before I left. Because I went down and come around the first time, which I didn't know where I was at that
I
point.
think you're a hottie.
And then I think I went 3 other times before I left.
A horny type.
You're telling me that you came up here just to meet him after all this conversation with him about sexually explicit things, about oral sex, in his mouth, coming in somebody's mouth.
I didn't talk to him about in his mouth.
Some romance if you
Do you want him to read the line back to you, Kenneth? You exactly said that.
don't mind.
Why did you come to see him then?
I came here
She
to
says,
meet
what kind? You
and to
don't-
chat with him, and that was it.
But, we've heard this too many times, Kenneth. Like, if you discuss at length what you're going to do with someone and you make plans to do something, how can you possibly claim that you weren't coming there to do the thing discussed? That'd be like if some friend of yours calls you up one night and they're like, hey, man, can you do me a favor? Can you give me a ride to the airport in the morning? And you're like, yeah, okay, sure. Can you pick me up at 7? All right, I'll see you then. And then you drive to their house, and then when you get there, you're like, oh, well, I'm not going to drive to the airport. They'd be like, what? We discussed it, and you drove all the way here. What would you come here for? Oh, just to hang out and talk. Like, that's the absurdity of it. You had this long conversation discussing doing something, and then you drove there and then claimed that wasn't what you were going to do. You had some other intent other than that. Like, it's got to be other people that share my frustration with how stupid that is.
However the situation takes.
Why didn't you just chat with him online?
I was,
Why did you come up here to chat with
because
him?
he asked me to.
She said, yeah, we can have sex, we have sex, but is that what that means? That's what you said. You say how the situation takes. Now,
In fact, there was even a conversation where he said something about coming up or something. I says, well, I don't even remember you asking me to come, Rocky. And he says, oh, yeah, I did. And I says, well, I don't remember that.
It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter if he invited you. The fact is, you came. You shouldn't have had this conversation to begin with. You shouldn't have talked sexually with him. And if he invited you over, you should have said no. This whole thing with like an underage decoy. That's why they have the age of consent. It doesn't matter what the other person says. It doesn't matter if they consent or not. It doesn't matter if it's their idea or not. You don't get to do it because you're the adult and they are the child.
condoms, and you have talk like this in condoms, what do you think a jury's going to think? You think a jury's going to believe your story?
I mean, if there was any talk about
You think a jury's going to believe your story?
something sexual tonight between him and I, it came from him, and I says, hey, I'm coming to meet and chat.
Oh, he's trying to just blame it all on him. If there's anything sexual, it's from him. The cop just read you specific lines that you said.
Friends in Kentucky?
And I asked him several times if he was a cop, and he said no.
Why would you worry?
What does it matter? Like, why do these idiots think that gets them out of trouble? Yep, if you ask a 14-year-old if they're a cop, if they say no, you're allowed to do whatever you want to them. No.
If he was a cop?
Well, because of the age. I mean, in the situation I'm in right now, I mean, I did nothing with the kid.
Here's the way it works. I can't tell the
I think he had plans on coming up here and doing something with the kid.
I
Okay?
can well, I'm
Do
sure
you
do.
understand why I feel that way?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you do. But I'm telling you that I didn't. I don't have the intentions of doing that with anybody that I meet online. I don't care if they're 40.
So I don't know if Kenneth here is married or what, but trying to say he doesn't have intention of doing that with anyone. Yeah, I haven't read about this guy, so I don't know what his situation is, but maybe I'll look it up by the time I do his actual confrontation with Chris Hansen. But yeah, I don't buy he's online to meet people and he claims that he just never does this. Like, bullshit.
However the situation, have you ever had...
Hell, the only reason I came back was because he asked me to come back.
Would be at me.
After you drove around several times.
Kinda.
8:51 tonight.
We could.
Okay.
if you want to.
8:52 last night. I'm sorry.
He says, okay, what does
So are you horny? That's you asking this.
LOL mean?
Yep.
Laughing?
Jungle Mania. Laugh out loud.
Okay, yeah.
Jungle Mania. Good
And
man.
you ask her, does that mean yes?
All at the same time?
No, it's two different lines. My point is, you're talking about sex online to this person that's 14.
I'm not denying
I
that.
know you're not. And why you're denying that you came up here and your intentions weren't to have some kind of sex with the 14-year-old, I don't believe.
Well, and you have that right to do that. I mean, you don't know me any more than I know you. I just know how I am. I know how I personally am. And if I was coming up here to
We know how you personally are too, Kenneth.
have sex with him, I'd have had condoms or something with me. And
There's
I
no
don't have
condoms or anything in your car.
it. No.
None in your bill.
You can have sex without condoms, Kenneth. That's not the thing that's going to make or break you.
No.
None anywhere. And you'll give us a consent to search your vehicle?
Sure.
Okay. Because that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, that's
Okay?
fine.
What's your criteria?
Do you have any explicit images of any children in your car or at work or at home?
497.
No.
Do you have a home telephone number?
No.
No, sir.
What's your, is that your cell phone there?
Yes, sir.
Is that the only phone you have?
Yeah.
What is that number?
There's on my computer. There's probably a few
Where's this camera guy going?
pictures of the people have sent me, but I mean, I don't know. I can't tell you that
You say, how many
they're
matches is
what the
okay?
ages are. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you have to judge that.
Do you
yourself.
care what the ages are?
Well, of course I care. I mean, we have never exchanged explicit pictures.
Lots of laughs, is that LOL means?
I mean, that's Rocky and I never ever exchanged any type of nude pictures or nothing.
We'll read you some more chat.
You guess.
Good. This is what we're all here for.
Okay.
I don't know, that's why I asked.
497.
Oh boy. So what you doing? Jungle Mania. Just cleaning the living room, and what are you doing? Oh boy. Nothing at all, really. Jungle Mania. Cool. Oh boy. Yeah, about as cool as cleaning. Jungle Mania. So do you have a nice...
Good Lord. Yeah, this cop here just looks like he's been doing this so long that he's so over putting up with shit from anyone. You just tell he's just looks down on a piece of garbage like this.
Yeah, but what were we talking about prior to that?
Cleaning?
Yes, Kenneth, you're talking about cleaning. Somehow that got him thinking real dirty.
No, I mean,
It doesn't matter what you're talking about prior to it. You're asking him something sexually explicit.
Can I come to you?
Correct?
Friday evening?
Okay.
He says, when? This Friday. Like your parents are going.
but he was in that chat.
Yeah.
Does that make it okay if you know it's a 14-year-old kid and you're asking him how big his is or how nice his is?
I did not realize that it was.
Do I need...
No, that is absolutely fucking wrong. Like you don't ask a kid that's that age if they have a nice cock. Like you don't do that. Like boy or girl. Like you just don't discuss those kind of things, even if it's as a joke. Like that should just not come up. And if you're the kind of person that does that, even if you don't or you claim not to have any intentions of harming them or touching them, just saying that kind of thing makes you like a creep of the highest goddamn level. Like, that's, like, he's just trying to play it off. Like, oh, what were we talking about before that? What does it matter? What does it matter what you were talking about when you ask him a question like that?
Need to go back to this first page on this chat when you ask how old he is.
No, he's in the chat room, you know, and
So that makes it okay.
talk is talk. I mean, hell, they do it in high school. You know,
Does
I'm
that
not.
make it okay?
No, it's
You're
not.
how old, Ken?
You're right. It's not.
Okay.
It's not.
Contact.
And when I was his age, I wouldn't even be talking about it.
Exactly.
Does it have street after it, or is it just, that's it?
Do you have any children?
No.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, because young people talk about that stuff amongst themselves with their peers of their age. Like, everyone does it. It's not your job as like a 46-year-old or however old this guy is. It's not your job to be having that discussion with him. Like, that is so completely wrong.
If you did have a child, how would you feel if they got online and was talking to somebody like this as a parent?
Well, as a parent, my kids wouldn't be online.
On UK campus?
Period.
Oh, bullshit. Yeah. Yes, even back then, but nowadays there's no way to be online. And he probably knows, yeah, my kids wouldn't be online because he knows what kind of people there are out there, and it's people like him.
I work in the library.
And I mean, I've got nieces and nephews that are, you know, teenagers, and, you know, I'm constantly telling their moms, hey,
Why do you tell them that?
well, because I'm in the chat rooms, I know what goes on in those chat rooms.
But it doesn't matter that you're chatting
Yeah, what
with
goes on is guys like you go in them and prey on young people.
somebody that's 14 years old.
Well, I think the intentions were different. I mean, I know what my intentions are.
So
But-
do I.
Yeah, your situation's different. There's all these other old creeps out there doing bad stuff, but your situation's different. You talking about sex with a 14-year-old's a different situation.
Well,
Okay? It's pretty obvious, Ken.
no, it's not.
Yes,
Not to
it is.
me. Not be, I know what I am.
We know what you are too, Kenneth.
And what is that?
I'm a man with a good heart. The kid was lonely, bored, and that's all it was.
What is it with these guys? Like, even Dustin McFetchard said this kind of bullshit. Where it's like, I'm such a good person, and they just try to portray themselves. Like, do they honestly believe that? Like, how could they? Like, this is so horrible. Even if they're, like, a good person other than doing this, like, this casts such a shadow over your life that you can't claim to be a good person other than the sexual predation on young people. That doesn't count. Like, that just ruins your ability to claim that you're a good person. And it's like, I don't think most normal people, like, I think I'm a normal person. Like, I'm caring, I guess, but I don't go around claiming that I have a big heart and all this stuff. It's anything I do, I just do because I just do it. It's a natural thing to do. I don't go around claiming that, hey, I'm a good person. I do good things. I have a big heart. I like to help people. It seems like the only people that say that are the people that do the exact opposite, so they feel the need to brag about how great they are. Most people wouldn't even really think about it. You would just generally be a good person, help people when necessary, and not do this kind of thing. You don't have to go around just constantly telling people how great of a person you are, especially when all of your actions show the exact fucking opposite.
So that's why you asked him how big his penis was.
That had nothing to do with.
That's all part of this chat.
Well, we've been chatting for how long?
What does it matter? Yeah, once you hit that 4-day mark with a minor, you're allowed to ask them disgusting sexual questions. It doesn't matter how long you've been talking. The only way would be, say you talk to them for 4 or 5 years, where all of a sudden now they're an adult. Now you could be talking to them about that. But even then, you'd be in your 50s, and that would just still be pretty gross, but legal. There's no time limit on this. It's not like a certain number, like character count before you can bring up sex.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Sorry for all the rants. I'm kind of just really getting angry with this guy.
Most of this chat is from tonight.
Well, there was chat earlier. I mean,
Yeah. He's like, oh, well, how long have we been chatting for? And the cop's like, well, most of it's tonight. So 1 day, Kenneth.
a week ago, the middle of last week, because we've chatted like 2 or 3 different times.
what years?
And each time you talk about sexually explicit things with him.
Not the whole time, but
I
yeah.
didn't say the whole time. I said
Yeah.
each time.
Do you know what your license plate number is?
Okay?
And, you know, so
Is it
A lot of
right?
How long have you lived at Kentucky?
I guess the way that he carried himself, you would assume that on my end that,
Bearing in mind he's 14 years old.
right, but I'm saying the way that he came in and was chatting, whether it's right or wrong, I mean, you know,
Bearing in mind that he's 14 years old,
Tell me right now and save me the
it
trouble.
made it all right for you to ask him those questions.
You want to sign this, giving me permission to search any officer that...
no, but some of them I was answering these questions. I guess I could have been rude and just say it's none of your business.
But when you ask him his penis size,
Oh, that's right. You're just coming up here just to chat, right?
Or anything about this?
To meet him and chat, yes.
Answer those for, or ask for all these
I'm going to be honest with you, and again, I don't believe your story.
Okay.
You're not being truthful with me. Your body language tells me that. I'm an investigator.
I'm being 100% truthful with you on what my intentions were for tonight. That's just the way it is. And I'm sorry that you don't believe that, but I'm not like some of the other people that you may pick up on there. That's just,
What? Yeah, these guys just think that there's a difference between all the other predators and them. They're all creeps, but I'm not. Like, no, you're just one of the many of them. There's no difference between you and the other guys.
it's not me.
Well, let me tell you how similar in conversation your conversation is with other people on the internet chatting with kids that are this age. It's very similar.
Oh,
Okay?
okay.
It's very similar.
Yeah, you guys all say the same thing, and you all give the same excuses. Like, he thinks he's so clever. Like, no one's ever given these stupid excuses before. Every guy does.
You're the 9th person tonight that we've arrested for this.
I know that when I meet people my age, they think, now, I'm just giving you an example.
This is not someone your age.
I know, but when I do meet people my age, they think that I'm going to do anything with them, and that's just not me.
So you ask somebody repeatedly, are you horny? And then you just show up at their house and just say, I just want to talk?
That was just
On
that
chat?
was just in conversation. That was not even when we had decided.
If I
to
ask
meet.
you if you're horny, what does that mean to you?
he's in a
If
sex
I ask you if you're horny, what does that mean to you?
to me. It's an everyday thing for me.
You ask him in here if he was
It's an everyday thing for you. You know what we should do? We should just get Kenneth Brinkman and Jeff Stacy together, and they could just chat with each other, asking each other if they're cops, asking each other if they're horny, just asking each other all sorts of questions, and then bam, they're gone, and they're not going to bother anyone else, and they can just have their fun.
horny, and you say, I wish you lived closer.
Correct.
Why?
Only because he was an hour away.
Tell me what the phone, you got phone number on there?
You know, during the whole conversation, I mean, you're looking at
I'm sorry?
those two lines.
No, I'm looking at more than 2 lines.
Well,
And even if it is 2, like, it should be 0. Anything other than 0 is wrong. You can't say, hey, I had a conversation over text with this underage person, but I only said 2 sexual things to them. Like, that's not a defense. That's incriminating yourself. You're okay, 2. That's like, it should be 0. Like, what do these guys think is like the appropriate thing to say? Like, what's an appropriate conversation with an underage person? The fact that they think these things they say, ask if they have a nice cock, like somehow that's not that bad, and they only said a couple of things. Like, what do they consider normal? They consider that, he said it himself, like, I say this to everyone. Like, he considers this a normal thing. Like, these guys, their minds are so warped that they don't know how to talk to people. Like, that doesn't come up. Like, even girls, like, that I was dating, it's like, I wouldn't even say that kind of stuff to them, like, when we were in a relationship. We were in a sexual relationship. I would still not just say vile, disgusting things like that. I mean, it's fine if you do it between adults, but I didn't find that to be normal. I think we had a fairly healthy sexual relationship. So how twisted are these guys that they just meet people for like a day or so? It's an underage person, and then they just say disgusting, graphic things that are completely inappropriate for a person that age, and they don't really think it's that big of a deal because it was only a few times and they'd been talking for a couple days. Like, I don't want to know what goes on in these guys' minds. Yeah, I don't think I'm some kind of prude or anything, but I think something's definitely wrong with Kenneth Brinkman.
Oh, I'm just saying though.
All we're doing is picking out certain excerpts from this
Right. And trying
about
to-
your conversation that shows that you had sexually explicit conversation with him.
I did, and I won't deny that. But that doesn't mean that I came here to have sex with him.
You want to look, give me your phone number, please?
That's my point, is that it doesn't mean...
If the opportunity would arose, you wouldn't have taken it.
Absolutely not. Nope. Not in a heartbeat.
Yeah, you're lying, and I get it that they don't want to go to jail, so they have to deny it. But the guys always say that. Yeah, I talked about it, but I wouldn't have actually done it. If you wouldn't have actually done it, you wouldn't have driven to the house. Like, you absolutely had that intention. Unless we just found, like, this small segment of the population, the most honest men you could possibly find. They all happen to be busted into catch a predator stings, but these are the most honest guys that could actually have a sexual discussion and go over there and not do it, and they're not lying about it. Like, no, people watching this, and these cops, and every other rational, well-adjusted human being understands how the human mind works, and they understand what motivates most people. So when you have this chat, you say all this kind of stuff, and then you go to the house, we know exactly what you were trying to do. So you're trying to pretend that, well, no, that's everyone else. All other people would do that, except for me. I wouldn't do that kind of thing. Like, no, you absolutely would.
I just don't do it.
Not too many people drive an hour at midnight
Where's she
just to talk, do they?
What time was you originally supposed to have been up here tonight?
Yeah, exactly. And this is like midnight. If you're meeting a young person, be like, hey, I'll meet you tomorrow afternoon. Something appropriate in the daytime, not at midnight when a kid should probably be in bed anyway.
I think it was 11:30. Because it wasn't until,
you enter the chat room too?
I wanted to say 10 o'clock, that I even agreed to do it.
We haven't managed.
I think he actually called me.
So if I call
Well, my phone's in my car, but I think that he actually called me around 10 o'clock.
Have you ever done anything like this before?
No.
what's their name?
Why did you choose to come to Dark County?
That's where he was at.
Did you tell anybody you were coming?
That's the only sensible answer. Yeah, I kind of thought that before when they asked, like, why did you come to this particular county? It's like, well, because that's where the person I was meeting lived.
In here other than who you came to visit?
No.
You're an accountant, you work for a major
Yes.
oil company, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you tell everybody in your chats?
That's what I am.
Are you supposed to
Where do you
marry
work
him or
at?
something?
Speedway.
No. Okay.
I manage the audit department.
How well do you know him?
Okay.
How well do you know him?
I'm just going to read you a couple more lines of this because I want you to get the drift where I'm coming from, okay? Jungle Mania. So do you a lot? Oh boy, yes, sometimes like a river. Oh boy, do you? Jungle Mania, cool. Jungle Mania, oh yes. Oh boy, cool. Hey, would it be okay if I called you quick while I can?
That was
Jungle Mania on the phone. Oh boy, yeah, if that's okay with you. Oh boy, it's not. If that's not okay. Oh boy, I was just wondering. Jungle Mania. Well, better wait on that, Rocky. Oh boy, okay. Jungle Mania. Sorry. Oh boy, that's cool. I was just wondering since I do not. Since they're asleep. Oh boy, no, it's okay. Jungle Mania, laugh out loud. Oh boy, you're still cool. Jungle Mania, They may hear you, man. Oh boy, no, they're clear at the other side of the house. Oh boy, it's a big house. Laugh out loud. Jungle Mania, okay. Oh boy, plus I use a calling card to call you, so if, and I mean if, they do come, which they won't, I'll hang up and they can go no way to know it was you. Oh boy, I can hear him coming down the stairs, so I'd hang up anyway. Oh boy, but it's up to you. Jungle Mania, sneak out for a
That was a conversation not tonight.
It doesn't matter.
What? Well, as everyone knows, your legal history, it resets every 24 hours. So any crime that you do, once you hit midnight, it resets, and hey, I did that yesterday, so it doesn't count. What is he talking about? That was yesterday? Who cares when it was? If it was 17 years ago when you said that, that's still illegal and wrong. What the hell is he talking about? What an idiot.
Matter. What are you asking him to sneak out to do?
Oh, I know. I understand.
What? Okay.
I understand where you're coming from, but that was like the first chat we ever had.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
That's even worse. The fact that you said that in the first chat you ever had, that's even worse than having it as the most recent chat.
Come on, Ken. Honestly.
You're asking me why I'm here tonight, why I came up here tonight.
Why are you chatting with him?
Well,
Why are you talking about sexually explicit things? Why are you talking about with him?
Because that's where the conversation went, which
But you
is
knew
wrong.
he was 14
You're
years old.
right.
Ball team. Who's your favorite player?
I agree.
Then tell me why that the conversation had to be the sexually explicit conversation that you had with him, rather than that about what's your favorite sport? Who's your favorite actor? How's your grades in school?
I was just following his conversation.
But you're the adult.
I agree with that.
Why didn't you stop it?
Well,
When it got to that point, why didn't you stop it?
I should have.
We'll take one more here, okay? Your eyes are-
So you know it was wrong,
Yeah.
and you did it anyway.
I guess at the time I did not see it as being wrong because he was in the chat room and it was just talk.
I'd like to tell the prosecutor that you cooperated with.
What did that lead to?
But I can't do that.
That chat and that talk, what did that ultimately lead to?
Definitely
Ken?
led to more than what I ever anticipated. I
What
mean,
did
I
it lead
expect-
to tonight?
Tonight.
Where are you at?
I'm right here in trouble.
On your computer.
If you would have kept the conversation to something such as sports or whatever, school, do you think that you'd be here tonight?
No nudity, no child porn.
I think, would I have met him? I think so.
There's a little bit of hesitation in his voice, and I'll answer this one for you, Ken. No, you would not have talked to him. If you guys had only talked about things other than sex, whether it's sports or whatever, if that was all you talked about, you would have kept it to an online conversation. You would not have driven to his house just to talk about sports more with him. The only reason you went over there is because you had been talking about sex, got yourself all horny, and wanted to go over there and do it for real. So in order to do that, you had to drive to his house to see him physically in person. That's why you drove there. So to answer that cop's question, if you guys are only talking about innocent things, you would have stayed at home.
The conversation would have stayed sports and not sex.
Yeah, I mean, because I was dwelling more on the fact that he was bored. He said his parents were gone for 4 days.
Did you think that was rather strange for a 14-year?
I mean, all sorts of people are bored sometimes. It's not a reason for you to hop in the car and travel to their house like some kind of savior from their to save them from their boredom. It's just like if they're bored, well, chatting with them might help alleviate their boredom or encourage them to go do something else. You don't need to drive to their house to get them to not be bored.
To be gone or for his...
Not to mention that the kind of things that like a 46-year-old man is into is probably not going to entertain a 14-year-old. He's probably not going to be have that much more fun having you in the house than he would alone or with his own friends.
Parents be gone for 4 days and leave him at the house by himself?
You tell me about you were telling here today?
I didn't really find it to be strange, just simply because early on, like a week ago when we were chatting, the fact that, you know,
Just set the camera down, Mr. Cameraman, and you had a perfect shot before. Just leave it there.
he led me to believe that his parents kind of let him do what he wanted to do, you know, as far as, I mean, hell, he was online at midnight, you know, and I was like, don't you have school? Well, yeah.
Yeah, he was online at midnight, then you're driving to his house at midnight. If you're concerned about how late he's up, why don't you just let him go to bed instead of driving over to his house?
And he said something, one time he said something about his mom coming in and telling him to go to bed. It's like, well, you probably ought to, you know, it's, you got school.
Do you think his mom would have known about the sexually explicit conversations and would have cared?
Oh, yeah, we talked about that. He said that his parents were computer stupid.
Did that stop you from talking about those things with her?
No, I answered his questions. Wherever he led it, I went, you know, I mean.
And you didn't lead any of it?
As far as, what do you mean by lead it?
The conversations about sex. You never brought up anything about sex. You only answered what he asked you about sex.
Well, I mean, one thing may lead to it, would have let, you know.
Ken, it's a
Okay,
simple
fine.
answer.
All right, fine. Yeah, I'm sure that there, at some point I brought up something that he didn't.
And by at some point, he means every single point.
So by what you're saying, if his parents were home, you'd have come up here anyways, right? Because you were just going to talk to him, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean if his parents were home?
Yeah, you'd have just come up anyways because you were just going to talk, right? You weren't doing anything wrong.
I'm Rocky's friend Ken. I've been chatting with him online. I just want to meet him tonight.
Yeah.
The cop's hilarious. Yeah, no parent would ever allow that. That's even if he was going there for some noble purpose. He specifically waited till the parents were they didn't just go out for dinner or to a movie or something. He waited till they flew to Vegas. They were in another state. They were so far away that even in an emergency, they could not get back quickly. He made sure that they were gone before he went over. So there's no way that he would have driven over at midnight to hang out with his boy, even if he claims what he was going to do was proper. Like, no, he didn't want the parents there. And if you didn't want the parents there, that means that you wanted them out of the way because you intended to do something bad. You're stuck, Kenneth. There's no way you could even get us to think maybe there's a chance you were there not to do anything horrible.
I mean, if you're just going to meet him tonight, what point, how many times did you have to meet him before you had sex with him?
I guess, yeah, I would have never had sex with him. Never.
You talk about sneaking out for your size, all
That
the
was
stuff swollen
conversation
loads. And you're not
online, but, you know, it's one thing when you're face to face. And the other thing is I probably would have never came
So
and
is
met-
he going to say that it's one thing online, but it's different face to face? Like he was going to chicken out? Like this guy and Jeff Stacy are very, very similar. Jeff Stacy too was kind of like, oh, it's all talk, and then he kind of chickens out. He's a big man online, and then chickens out when he gets there.
met him if his parents were here, just in protection of him. You know, because he kept telling me that if his dad ever found out, his dad would throw him out, that his dad was totally down on gay people.
And if that's true, then why are you talking to him? It's like, well, why get him in further trouble? If the boy, I think what he's saying is that if the boy thinks, like, if his dad found out that he was gay or talking about gay things online, that he would kick him out of the house. So why are you having a text conversation with him and saying very vile, graphic sexual things? That's only more likely to get him in trouble. If that's what you're worried about, keeping him out of trouble, why say any of that? Or at the very least, just say it over the phone where there's not going to be a written record of it. But you shouldn't say it over the phone either.
I mean, that's on gay people. That's what's in the law.
That didn't stop you from coming up to see him tonight, right? After all this sex conversation.
Well, he said that his parents were gone. And he's telling me what he wants. That he had this cousin relationship.
So you found out that, or he told you that he had an inappropriate relationship with his cousin, And your first thought is to just double down on that and have an inappropriate relationship with him yourself.
You know, I've been there.
So that excited you?
I wasn't excited at all.
You wasn't?
Not in the way that you think I was.
How would you?
You were talking about all that sexual stuff. You even admitted to it. You're telling me that you didn't get off on that? Shut up.
Excited.
Whenever we watch movies, you drive all the way from Lexington.
I was just being friendly. I wasn't. I was not sexually
Hey, I know a lot of friendly people, and none of them have ever told me that they never waste a load.
excited about a 14-year-old. How in the hell can I be sexually excited personally about a 14-year-old?
You tell us, Ken.
I don't know. You tell me.
Me and this cop are like, we have like a psychic link where we can think alike over space and time and ask the same questions.
I can't be.
That's why you carry on these conversations with them.
Well, it was an online conversation, and I just see it as a different. I see that differently.
You see no harm in it.
Yeah, I brought this up before. Like, it's the whole Jeff Stacy thing again, that online and real life are two different things. They are not. They're just two different methods of conversation. But you're still talking to a real person. Like, if you are talking to her, obviously there are fake AI people out there, but we're not talking about that. If you're talking to a real person online, or talking to a real person on the phone, or talking to a real person face to face, they're all different methods of talking to a person. It's not like the human ceases to exist if they're not directly in front of you. If you have a conversation with someone over text and then you see them later on in person, those things you said still apply. It's not like you could just get away with saying anything online because it doesn't exist. It's like there's no difference.
Not at the time, no.
You didn't see no psychological harm in talking to somebody posed as a 14-year-old and talking this way.
Own up to your deal.
No. I mean, you see them in there all the time.
That makes it
If you never
okay.
even had
No.
sex, why do you talk about it in your chat log?
No.
You talk about it. You talk about doing it. Why do you do that if you've never had sex with her? If you've never had sex and didn't have sex with her, why would you discuss it in your chat log?
I don't know, so maybe I was.
Maybe because you had intentions of doing it?
No, sir.
Oh, come on.
Are you willing to sign a consent to search your vehicle?
Oh,
And
yeah.
any property that's in the vehicle?
Yeah.
You wanna cuff him and-
Okay.
He's gonna take the cuffs off of you long enough to sign that. His time's approximately 1:47 a.m. He's gonna conclude the interview.
Right-handed. That's right, yeah. Sign right there.
Well, I used your mouth kept trying to convince the jury that you didn't come up with intent to have sex with this girl.
You're supposed to try to stab yourself in the neck, Ken. You and Jeff Stacy are so similar. I thought you'd pull that move too.
We'll double lock this, okay? They okay?
No.
Are they? Are your cuffs okay?
Oh, they don't seem right.
Well, let's check them. Stand back up. Which one's bothering you?
Have a seat there, Ken. I'll get your picture, okay? Being charged with attempted unlawful sexual conduct with a minor. It's a felony. We'll take you to.
Not sure if this is like a police station. Or I'm assuming it's a police station of some kind. It just something about it. The wood. It just looks like a fishing lodge or something.
Jail. Once you get there, you'll be booked in, you'll be allowed to make a phone call. You'll probably be arraigned before a judge and bond set sometime Monday. I don't know whether it'll be Monday morning, Monday afternoon, or whatever, okay? I'm just telling you what's gonna happen, okay? Do you have any questions of me whatsoever?
So I'm in jail all weekend?
Yep.
I've got a good question for you. You said you've never had sex before, right?
Okay.
How long ago did you buy those?
I'm gonna ask you one thing.
You bought these today.
So
Do you think you could convince a jury that you didn't come up here to have sex with that 14-year-old after showing them these chat logs and stuff?
Absolutely.
You think you can?
You have sex on a regular basis?
Well, unless you find the 12 stupidest people that exist to be in that jury box, you're going to have a rough time, Ken.
I don't think so. Okay?
My black condoms.
That may be, I just know what my intentions were.
Are you religious?
I said, my key word here is, do you think that you can convince a jury? You can't convince me.
Okay. What does your religion say about having sex? Do you know?
I'm with him.
May I ask what religion you are?
Okay.
All right, we'll end it there. That was it for Kenneth Brinkman. Yeah, people have requested this one. I see why. This is a pretty good. This is among the better interviews, I think. Maybe it's not up to the same level as Dustin McFetridge, but it's still a pretty funny one. So yeah, thanks again for watching, everyone, and there's plenty more TCAP videos coming your way in the coming days. So keep an eye out for them, and I'll see everyone next time.